Imagine that, is a series of short, narrated stories created to help women become who God called them to be. Through creativity, storytelling, and soul-stirring sound. In a world full of list-based self-help advice, this series offers something different. A place to escape, to feel, to reflect. A world where the characters speak to your soul and their journey gently awakens your own. So let's begin. Chapter 3. She started waking up early. She remembered the girl she used to be. Frantic, foggy, forever behind. A woman haunted by the feeling that time was slipping through her fingers faster than she could hold it. Her mornings were a battlefield she always lost. She'd wake at 8:50 a.m., 10 minutes before work, after another late-night doom scroll. TikTok videos bleeding into the early hours, feeding her distractions while draining her discipline. She'd hit snooze again and again, bargaining with minutes she did not have. By the time she finally stumbled out of bed, she was already drowning. Emails stacked, meetings flashing red. Her heart raced before her feet even touched the ground. She rushed through her mornings like a woman trying to outrun herself, joining meetings breathless, mind scattered, spirit depleted, never once pausing to ask, how did I get here? The truth, by noon, she was exhausted. By 5 p.m., she was empty. By nightfall, she collapsed into the only comfort she knew: junk food, mindless scrolling, and a show she'd seen 100 times. She didn't like herself on those days, not because she wasn't worthy, but because she knew she wasn't living as the woman she was called to be. One night, as she scrolled with glazed eyes and a tired soul, a video slid across her feed. The 5 a.m. club. Women rising before sunrise. Women stealing back time for themselves. Women meeting the day before the world demanded anything from them. She scoffed. 5 a.m., please. She couldn't even imagine sleeping before midnight. But life was changing. She was in her lock-in season now, praying more, learning discipline, detoxing her mind, breaking cycles, shedding old versions of herself like dead skin. And when the 5 a.m. content resurfaced weeks later, something in her whispered, "You can do this now." So she began gently. 6:30 a.m., then 6, then 5:30. She prepared her nights like sacred rituals, closing the digital noise, journaling her thoughts out of her mind and onto paper, surrendering her anxieties in prayer, and slipping into bed with intention instead of exhaustion. Then one morning, 5 a.m., her alarm rang, and she rose, not groggy, not resentful, just ready. Rest had finally arrived before she needed it. She sat up, feet melting into the softness of her carpet, and breathed deeply, as though morning itself was greeting her by name. She prayed with a fullness she had never experienced, because time was finally her companion, not her enemy. She told God her dreams, her fears, her desires, and asked him to align them with his will. Then Then she wandered into her kitchen, bathed in the blue haze of dawn. She opened the balcony door, letting the cool breeze kiss her skin. She sipped warm tea like a woman, sipping her own rebirth. The quiet felt holy. The stillness felt like God Himself was speaking. She read a scripture, listened to becoming her content. Let wisdom pour into her before the world could drain her. Then she showered slowly, intentionally, washing not just her body, but the residue of old habits she no longer claimed. By 6:30 a.m., she was at the gym. She wasn't rushing, wasn't anxious, wasn't hiding. She felt like the main character in a movie where the plot finally turned in her favor. When she finished, she walked home while the world was still waking, breathing in crisp air, grabbing groceries for a nourishing dinner, and choosing an outfit for work, even though she worked from home, because she was no longer going to be in ripped t-shirts at home. She was dressing for the woman she was becoming, and when work began, she was ready, calm, clear, capable. She worked through the day with grace, not survival. And when evening fell, the night belonged to her. She cooked slowly, bathed softly, tended to her soul like a garden. Her routine felt sensual, sacred, feminine. She was pouring into herself what she used to beg the world for. As she slipped into bed, early, peaceful, grounded, she thought about who she used to be, who she was now, and who God was shaping her to become. Tears gathered. Pride warmed her chest. Now she finally understood why the Proverbs 31 woman rose while it was still dark. Not because she needed more hours, but because she needed more her. More space to think, more room to breathe, more time for God to speak. Waking early wasn't just discipline. It was destiny. It gave her an edge, a rhythm, a supernatural order that most women slept through. She didn't know it yet, but God was building her foundation, preparing her for the love He had written for her, positioning her for the business He had already ordained, clearing her life so He could finally bless it. And all of it began with the moment she decided to rise while others slept. If this episode resonated with you, please like and subscribe. And if you feel called to support the heart behind this series, you can buy me a Ko-fi to help bring more chapters to life. Thank you for being here, and remember, becoming her is a journey you take one gentle step at a time.